Government under the National Development Plan 3 wants more people connected to the national power grid to increase productivity and support industrialization. However, this aspiration remains far off due to high cost of electricity tariff. Under the new Electricity Amendment Bill, which seeks to amend the 1999 Electricity Act, government has set up interventions to curb the problem of high tariffs.
So in terms of the tariff, of course, this program, like I've indicated, is largely a last mile connection program. We are supporting grid expansion and last mile connection. So the impact on the tariff might not be part of this discussion, but we do have wider programs where we are looking at issues of the tariff. You're aware that in our current bill that has just been passed by Parliament, the Electricity Amendment Bill that seeks to amend the Electricity Act of 1999, we are providing for direct supply of power to industrial parks, and that way we should be able to bring down the tariff. We do have other strategies and interventions when it comes to tariff reduction. For the long term, one of the strategies is to ensure more public funding into our generation plants, so that way we are able to keep the tariff to manageable levels, so that the generation tariff is kept at minimum as much as possible. And then, of course, we continue to work with our distribution companies and even transmission, UETCL, Umeme, UEDCL, to ensure that we minimize the losses during transmission.
Umeme, which started operations in 2005, has been running on a 20-year concession to distribute power and collect fees from clients. At the time, power losses were over 35%, a huge cost to government, which translated into a high power tariff. According to the Umeme MD Selestino Babungi, the new effort by legislators is a move in the right direction.
There were good intentions in there. For example, vandalism, where now our customers, especially in Western Uganda and the Mubende area, that belt, Mubende, Masaka, Kazo, Mbarara, there's a lot of vandalism. Cutting poles, stealing conductor, destroying transformers, bringing towers down. I think that's a positive. The 15 years as proposed, plus billions of fines, that's welcome, because anyone who is destroying infrastructure for the citizens is an economic saboteur. That's one. The second positive I saw is they were strengthening around regulation, dispute resolution through the EDT process. The other one, they were looking at the governance of the board, era, 5 terms, staggering, ensuring there's affirmative action, which is also good for the sector. Then there was another introduction which was around the current single buyer model, right? Where all generation plants sell power to the transmission company, right? Who is the monopoly buyer of all power produced in the country. Then the transmission company sells power to the varying distributors. We are 6 of us.
However, he explains that although Umeme is the one that collects fees from clients, the tariff is determined by the Electricity Regulatory Authority.
For example, the top, we call them Code 40, large customers, right? We sell them power at an average of, say, 8 cents or 8.5, right? When the handover price from the transmission company to us arrives at 8.9 cents. So you can see that the dynamics of pricing rests with the government. And sometimes I think Umeme is kind of misunderstood. Yet Umeme is just an implementer of policy. You want 5 cents? Tell us, and tell us who to give it to. We shall give the 5 cents based on the directives of government.
Why should government continue to incur a loss, or the taxpayer to incur a loss, especially in your work as you distribute power to the people?
No. Actually, the model is very simple. When you were brought in, they say, bring your capital, invest this, we shall give you a return on investment on that capital, right? Here are your targets. For example, you must collect all the bills. If someone doesn't pay his bill, it's your risk. You get me? You must continue reducing losses. For example, we have a target of 12.5% by 2025. If you don't hit that target, the risk is yours. I will give you a fixed operating cost to deliver your services, right? If you operate above those costs, shauri yako, right? The network should perform at this level, what they call the S factor, in terms of reliability. Should the network be unreliable, there's a penalty that you will face. You get it? So it's an incentive framework to continuously enable us, continuously do better as we improve the system, which cannot be fixed in one day.
But how else would the tariff be reduced besides reducing losses to below 10%?
Because, for example, the tariff is a function of your sector cost divided by volume. You can say, let me go en masse and grow volume, right? Bring in more industries. And I'm glad that's happening. We are seeing most of our large customers, because of the opportunities in Rwanda, the opportunities in DRC, the opportunities in Uganda, the opportunities in South Sudan. They are all scaling up. You are aware cement now is literally from the factory to the construction site.
However, the MD has a bone to pick with some clauses in the bill that he says are not good for business.
To the sector is a generator comes and says I will sell direct to the consumer. First of all, if this is a private generator, because the investment money in generation is significant, right? If you're private and you're coming in, chances are you rely less on another private consumer to guarantee your current and future cash flows. Most private investors in infrastructure take comfort in dealing with government.
What if the 3 years elapse and then the government is not interested in renewing your concession? What is going to happen?
There is the asset transfer process back to government through the government agency UEDCL. There is the whole handover process to ensure that consumers are not left between, hanging, to ensure there's continuity of supply, which is very important for us. Then also there is the whole mutual separation. Umeme will have put in its money for which it has not yet recovered in investments to ensure that the government then settles that and everyone bids farewell to each other.
It's not clear when or if the president was actively looked to cut the tariff substantially will sign this bill into law. SUDHIR BYARUHANGA, NTV.